Hello guys, so we're here once again. Classic FOREX speaking. You know how we do it. It's simplify the complicated. I believe you guys are enjoying your Easter break. That is very good. But let's get to work. Alright, so BTC USD, we are going to first begin on the monthly time frame. This is our first pair of the list of pairs that we're going to analyze today. So let's get to it. Alright, so on the monthly time for Bitcoin, we have the monthly upper zone, the mid-range zone, and then the lower zone. What do we see on the monthly? On the monthly, we are seeing an uptrend. Why? Because price gave us a higher high. After high, we saw a higher low. A new high was formed. Another higher low has been formed. Where should we go next? We move continuously to the upside. So on the money time, it is very evident that price is moving to the upside. And we can even see that what? There's a formation of what? A bullish pin bar over here, all indicating that there's more buy pressure to push the market continuously to the upside. So now that we understand that BTC USD or Bitcoin price going to the upside, the question then is, how can we pick entry to the upside? Before we can do that, we need to understand the other time frames of Bitcoin. So BTC USD, let's take it all the way to weekly time to add more meaning to this technical analysis. Okay, so this is the weekly time frame of Bitcoin. Let's add more meaning into the weekly as well. Now on the weekly time for BTC USD, we have the weekly mid-range zone over here. Price is in a downtrend on the weekly time frame. This was a lower low, lower high, equal low, equal lower high. Can we pick the buys from here to the upside? No. Why? Because we are in a downtrend and the price can see sell pressure from its previous lower high here and then drop back to the monthly support level. So since we are looking for a buy, then we are going to wait for price to break above the lower high or the weekly resistance level with a push to the upside, retest before we can find opportunities to go all the way to the upside. So mind you, BTC USD, our entry must be above the weekly resistance level to be valid. Alright, so we now understand how to pick the entry. Okay, so let's take it through again to the daily time to add more meaning on Bitcoin. Alright, so this is BTC USD on the daily time frame. Now BTC USD on the daily time frame, let us also put meaning into it very quick. A quick meaning into it. Now on the daily time frame, what is happening on the daily? On the daily, we have what? The daily mid-range zone over here. Let me adjust the screen so you guys can see what is happening below. Okay, this is very good. Right, so the daily time, we have the daily mid-range zone over here. Price is an uptrend on the daily. Why? Because this was our new lower low. Okay, we were supposed to see lower high here to bring the market down. But because of what the strong level of buy pressure on the monthly support level, we saw what? A break above the daily mid-range, giving us what? An uptrend on the day. So the daily price is currently in an uptrend. And like I said on the weekly, entries comes in above the weekly what? Resistance level. So all that we're waiting for on Bitcoin is for price to break above, retest, and then we can find buying opportunities to the next monthly resistance level. Entry below the weekly mid-range zone is invalid, but entries above weekly mid-range zone is valid. Alright, let's take it all the way to the 4 time frame and prepare for entry. Alright, so this is the 4 time frame of BTC USD. Let's add a final touch on this pair. Final touch. Alright, so BTC USD on the 4 time frame, look at how we have over here. On the 4 time frame, we have the 4H upper and the 4H lower zone. Price has been able to break above the 4-hour resistance level with a push. After a push, what happens next? Retest. After retest, continuation push, breaking above the weekly resistance. Wait for the next retest and then we buy above all the way to the upside. Okay, so since price is almost making contact, with the weekly resistance level, we are definitely going to see sell pressure, which will bring the market down for another higher low of the 4H. Price will go above, give us a new higher high, then a new higher low, and then we buy from there to the upside. So entry above here is valid, entry below here is invalid. Simple as that. So BTC USD, this becomes our full and complete technical analysis. What will make this setup invalid? This setup becomes invalid if price sees more sell pressure from here and then decide to reverse to the downside. Alright, so that's it also for what BTC USD. Let's take it to the next pattern. In my previous video that I made on the daily push analysis, I think someone mentioned ETC USD, okay, or Ethereum. Okay, so let's talk about Ethereum as well. We're also going to tackle Ethereum. Now you know Ethereum and then Bitcoin, they move almost in the same manner. So I'm definitely going to get the same result. But let's analyze Ethereum or what? Or ETH USD. Alright. So Ethereum, let's also start from the money time frame, okay? Let's also start from the monthly time frame. Let's get to understand what is happening on the trend pair of Bitcoin. Okay, they are almost the same thing. Okay, so this is what Ethereum also on the monthly time frame. Let's take our time and then get to know the overall direction of this pair and how we're going to pick our entry. So this is what Ethereum on the monthly time frame. We have the monthly upper, the mid range, and then the lowers. What do we see on the monthly time frame? We've seen that price has been able to break below the monthly support level to the downside. So where is it going? It is moving all the way to the next one. Support level as lower low on the monthly. But how is price going to get down here? Let's take you through the various time frames before we get to understand the whole process of how everything is going to be done. Alright, so let's take it all the way to the weekly time frame of Ethereum. Alright, so this is the weekly time frame of ETH/USD. Let's dive into it. Now on this pair, over here on the monthly time frame, we have the weekly time, we have the weekly mid-range zone or the weekly zone over here. Okay? Those of you that are under my mentorship, you know exactly how we came about with this particular level. So if I know in my mentorship and you want to join my course, the mentorship, you can hit me up in the description. We can talk about it. Alright, so this is what BTC or ETH/USD on the weekly time frame. On the weekly, we are in a downtrend. We see lower low, lower high, another lower low. There will be another lower high before price drops all the way to the downside in that month. So remember, on Bitcoin, price was going up to its resistance level, but on Ethereum, price is moving up to its resistance level, but over here in a different way. You understand? So here, Ethereum, we're also going to see a move all the way to the upside. Just like Bitcoin. Remember on Bitcoin, this was how the market was moving. Let me draw it well. So this is what we had on Bitcoin. We had an uptrend. This was Bitcoin. Price was moving from here to its resistance level. The same thing on Ethereum. Price moving from our weekly support level to its resistance level. So you see what? You see the resemblance over here. It's quite very simple. Alright. So Ethereum, if price is going all the way to its resistance level, can there be a case where we can capitalize on this move before I get to this resistance level? Let's find out as we take you through the various time frames together on what? Ethereum. So Ethereum, let's take it all the way to daily time frame to have more meaning. This is the daily time frame of ETH/USD or Ethereum. Now Ethereum on the daily time frame, we have the daily mid-range zone. What is price doing on the daily? On the daily, we are seeing what? A downtrend. We have the daily lower low, daily lower high, new lower low. What is going to happen? Another lower high. But remember, we said on the weekly that price is going for what? Lower high on the weekly. So that means that we are expecting buyers to be able to break above this resistance level so that price can get here as the weekly lower high before what? A sell comes in all the way to a downside. So if we want to capitalize on the next weekly lower high, then what are we going to do? We are going to wait for price to break above this resistance level before we can pick entry all the way to the upside. So Ethereum, entry below here to go to what? The monthly resistance as the weekly lower high is invalid. But entry above daily resistance level to go to the monthly what? Resistance as weekly lower high is valid. So if you are entering a trade over here to here, it is what? Invalid. But if it is above, it is valid. Why? Because on the daily, we are in a downtrend. So if you decide to pick your buy here, price can get here and see sell pressure drop. So we don't want to be in that situation, but we want to see price break above here. So once we're able to pick our buy above, we can hold till we get to our final target. Alright, so without further ado, let's take it all the way to the 4-hour time frame and then prepare for entry on Ethereum. Okay, so this is also Ethereum on the 4-hour time frame. Look at how I've done the entry over here. Quite very simple. For the entry, look at this. So this is what the 4-hour time frame of Ethereum. How are we going to be able to buy this pair? Let's explain. We have the 4H upper and then the 4H lower zone. Price have seen buy pressure from 4 hours support level. Once it goes all the way up and it reaches what? The previous lower high of the day, it is definitely going to see sell pressure. Drop down as higher low, goes all the way up, create a new higher high, then wait for what? A new higher low, and then we buy all the way to the upside. So Ethereum entry is going to be here. So this entry is valid. But if you decide to pick your entry here, it is what? It is invalid. Why? Because this is what? Daily lower high, and price can see sell pressure to drop all the way to the downside. So Ethereum, this is also our full and complete technical analysis. All right, let's take it to the next point on the list. All right, so next point on the list is going to be US oil. I think we've talked about US oil in our previous pre-market analysis, but let's look at US oil again today. So US oil, let's take it on the way to monthly time frame. All right, so this is US oil on the monthly time frame. Let's try and then put meaning into it like we usually do. All right, so the monthly time frame of what? US oil, we have the monthly upper, the mid-range, and then the lower zone. Price has been able to break the monthly range. Okay, so on the monthly, we saw a range. This is horizontal level of buy pressure. This is also horizontal level of what? Sell pressure. So this was what? A range or a consolidation period. But the range has been broken. Price has been able to break below this one, monthly support level or the monthly range to the downside. So once there's a break below, where do we hit next? We hit at the next one, level as lower low. So how can we pick entries below the monthly what? Support level to come all the way down to the next support level below? Let's find out as we take you through the various time frames together. So US oil, let's take it to the weekly time frame to add more meaning. Okay, so this is the weekly time frame of US oil. Let's add meaning. On the weekly time frame, price is what? In a downtrend. Why? Look at this. Let me add a level here. I should have brought it. I think I forgot, but let me add a level here so we can understand what? The downtrend over here. So if you look at the weekly very well, we saw what? In which a downside, this was what? The lower low, lower high, equal low, equal lower high, and then price dropped all the way to a downside. So in the weekly time frame, this is what? A weekly push to the downside. After push, what happens next? Retest. After retest, we continue the move all the way to the downside. So in the weekly time frame, price is going up for this is lower low. Price is going up to lower high on the weekly. Then it drops back to the what? The support level. So where do you think it is appropriate for us to pick ourselves? At the lower high. That's right. Simple as that. So US oil are picking an entry at the lower high. Immediately price will complete the retest and then we sell all the way to the downside. Simple as that. Simple as that. Alright, let's take it all the way to daily time frame to continue with the analysis. Okay, so this is the daily time frame of US oil. Now US oil, the daily time frame, we are also seeing what? A downtrend with daily supporting the what? The movement or the entry to the downside. This was a lower low, lower high, a new lower low, a new lower high will form, and then we sell all the way down to a monthly support level. So immediately the lower high is complete, and we pick our entry from that angle all the way to a monthly support level. Let's take the forward time frame and look at what to expect before entry to the downside. Alright, so this is the forward time frame of US oil. Now US oil on the forward time frame, let's add a final touch on this pair. Now on the forward time frame, we have the 4H upper and then the 4H lower zone. The last time that we analyzed this pair, price was around this particular area where I said that what? We are expecting a move up here before the sell all the way down. Those of you that always follow, you know what I'm talking about. But this is the forward time frame. What is price doing on the 4H? On the 4H, we can say that there's a strong level of sell pressure on this forward resistance level. But all that we're waiting for on US oil is for price to make contact with the monthly resistance as lower high on the weekly and also as lower high on the daily before an entry comes in all the way to the downside. So if buyers are able to push the market from here all the way up, then wait for what? Break of structure over here on this time frame before entry comes in all the way to the downside. So US oil, this is also our full and complete analysis. Okay, remember, once price gets here, we're waiting for what? A break of structure. Okay, break of structure before an entry all the way to the downside. Alright, so that's it also for what? US oil. Let's take it to the next pair. Next pair is going to be AUD card. Let's go all the way to AUD card. AUD card. Let's dive into it. Let's dive into it. So AUD card, I have a very beautiful buy setup over here. Why or what is the reason behind my buying opportunity over here on AUD card? Let's start from the monthly time frame to be able to understand what price is doing and why we are doing what we are also doing. You understand? Alright, let's take it all the way here to the monthly time frame. Let's put meaning into the monthly structure. Let's put meaning into the monthly structure over here. So this is the monthly time frame of AUD card. Now AUD card, we have the monthly upper and then the monthly lowers. What do we see on the monthly? Strong level of buy pressure on the monthly support level, pushing the market to the upside anytime price makes contact. And once price has made contact over here, we are seeing the exact same thing. Buy pressure pushing the market all the way to the upside. So if you look very well, This is what a strong pin bar indicates that there's a ton of buy pressure here, pushing the market all the way to the upside. So AUD CAD, what are we looking for? We are looking for buying opportunities all the way out to the next resistance level. How do we pick our buys on AUD CAD? Let's take it again to weekly time frame to add more meaning. Okay, so this is the weekly time frame of AUD CAD. Now AUD CAD on the weekly time frame, we have the weekly upper and the weekly lower zone. Price is in a downtrend, the weekly wide. This is a lower low, lower high, another lower low, another lower high. So we are looking for about, what do? We wait for price to break what? Above this previous lower high or lower low to the upside, so we can put the higher high and the cycle continue in that manner. So entry comes in above this what? Weekly resistance level. So don't tell me that class, I'm picking my buy here all the way to the upside because price will definitely go up. No, we are in a downtrend, and a downtrend is also a structure of the market. We can bring it all the way to a downside. So ideally, entry should be above this weekly resistance before you can do what? Picking buys all the way up. So immediately, price breaks above here, all buying opportunities are valid. Let's take it all the way to the daily time frame to add more meaning. This is the daily time frame of AUD CAD. Now, AUD CAD on the daily time frame, we are seeing almost the exact same thing as we saw on the weekly time frame. Okay, which is what? This lower low and then this low high. But remember, like I said, entry comes in above the weekly resistance level. Right? So since there's not so much to talk about here on the daily, let's take it all the way to a 4-hour time frame and then continue with the entry. Alright, so this is the 4-hour time frame of AUD CAD. Now AUD CAD on the 4-hour time frame, we have the 4-hour mid-range zone or lower zone over here. Price and uptrend. This is a push high, higher low, another move, another exhaustion, and the price going all the way to the upside. But entry comes in above the weekly resistance level. So price should be able to break above here to give us what? The next higher high on the 4H, the next higher low, and then we can pick our entry all the way to the upside. Once you're able to pick entry over here, TP1 will be at the weekly resistance level, TP2 will be at the monthly resistance level. Why are we putting TP1 at the weekly resistance level? Because at weekly resistance level, price can see sell pressure to drop to create weekly higher low before it goes all the way to the upside. That's why we put TP1 over here. You understand? So that is it for the explanation. Alright, let's take it to the next pair. Next pair is going to be what? NZD CAD. Let's go to NZD CAD. NZD CAD. NZD CAD, where are you? There it is. So we also have NZD CAD. Let's talk about NZD CAD. I think this is also very simple. Okay, so this is NZD CAD on the money time frame. Let's take our time and then analyze it thoroughly so that once we are able to pick entry, we won't panic. Okay, one thing about the technical analysis is that if you take your time and you do your technical analysis right and you're able to pick your entry, you can hold because you know and trust what you have done. But if you just be in haste and you pick your buy yourself, you understand, no, and you start panicking. Okay, you start panicking because you know that you haven't done the right thing, you haven't done the analysis all the way up to 100%. Alright, so let's get to work. Alright, so NZD CAD, monthly upper zone, monthly mid-range, monthly lower zone. What do we see here on the monthly time frame? Buy pressure from monthly support level, pushing price on the way to the upside. And over here on this pair, we can even see that our price has formed a strong pin bar, indicating a strong level of buy pressure to move the market all the way to the upside. So NZD CAD, we are also looking for buying opportunities to the next monthly resistance level. How are we going to pick the buy? Let's take it further to weekly. This is the weekly time frame of NZD CAD. Now NZD CAD on the weekly time frame, we have a weekly mid-range zone over here. Now, what are we going to do over here on the weekly? On the weekly, let's try and explain. Price was in a downtrend. This is the level that price broke below to become a downtrend. Lower low, lower high, low, and then you see price go all the way to the upside. So price is just what? Moving up and down over here in this manner. But we are looking for opportunities to buy. So where should our buy comes in? Our buy comes immediately price based above this resistance level. So if price can break above this resistance level, then it will give us a free range to pick our entry all the way to the next monthly resistance levels. For now, the only obstacle preventing us from buying is this one resistance level. So you're going to stay patient for price to break above this resistance level to the upside before entry comes into the next one monthly resistance level. All right, let's take it all the way to the daily. Is it the daily? Okay, this is also the daily time frame of NZD CAD. Now NZD CAD on the daily time frame, NZD card on the daily time. Let's also put meaning into it. So if you look at the daily time frame of NZD card, price is also in an uptrend over here on the daily. How did it get to become an uptrend? Let's find out. So you have the daily mid-range zone over here. Look how price did. Price broke below. We didn't see lower high, but it continued to sell all the way down. Then it came all the way up to break above this one, middle zone again to the upside, representing what? An uptrend. So we are now in an uptrend on what? On the daily, because price is looking above its previous lower high here to the upside. Alright, now since price is looking above, what are we doing? Entries all the way to the upside. But remember, like I said, entries comes in above this resistance level of the what? The weekly. So let's take it all the way to a 4-hour time frame, and then also prepare for entry to the upside on NZD card. So NZD card, this is also going to be our entry all the way up there. So when the 4-hour time price was an uptrend, higher high, higher low, and we are seeing price going all the way to the upside. So if buyers are able to break this resistance level to the upside, it will give us a higher high, a higher low, entry confirmation or candle confirmation, and then we buy all the way to the next monthly resistance level. So NZD card, this is also a full and complete technical analysis. Alright, let's go to the next pair. Next pair on the list is going to be USD Chef. Let's talk about USD Chef. Then from USD Chef, I think I'll move all the way to USD. Alright, so USD Chef, after USD Chef, USD will be best. Okay, so this is USD Chef. I'm looking for a selling opportunity to the downside. Why? Let's take it to the monthly time frame of USD Chef. Alright, so this is USD Chef on the monthly time frame. Let's put meaning into it. On the monthly time frame of USD Chef, we have the monthly upper zone, the mid-range, and then the lower zone as well. Like I said, those of you that are under my mentorship, you know exactly how we came about with this particular level. Nothing should be what a mystery to you over here, okay, except if you're not in our team. Okay, so this is the monthly time frame of what? USD Chef, monthly upper, mid-range, and then lower zone. What has price done? On the monthly time, the price in the downtrend, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, and then price has dropped all the way to the downside. So we have what? Equal lows and then equal lower highs over here. Okay, and price has been able to break below this level. So we are going all the way down to create what? A new lower low. It's that simple. So there's more sell pressure on USD Chef pushing the market on the way to the downside. The question is, how are we going to be able to find selling opportunities all the way down here? Let's take it again to the weekly time frame to add more meaning. Okay, so this is the weekly time frame of USD Chef. Now USD Chef on the weekly time frame, let's also put meaning into it. This is also a weekly push all the way to the downside. Are we going to see weekly retest before price goes down, or are we going to see continuation move further to the downside? Let's find out as we take the time frames again, because there's not so much to talk about here on this weekly time frame. So let's go to daily. Okay, so this is the daily time frame of USD Chef. Now USD Chef on the daily time frame, you also see the exact same thing. Daily push all the way to the downside. Price, struggled a bit over here, but you see now what? There's been another break below. So if you look closely, all of these levels are at support levels. That price has been broken again to the downside, indicating there's more sell pressure bringing the market all the way down. Now, how can we pick the entry? Let's take it to 4-hour time frame and prepare. Okay, so this is the 4-hour time frame of USD Chef. Now, USD Chef on the 4-hour time frame, it is very, very clear in terms of structure. You have the 4H upper and then the 4H lower zone. Price has been able to break below this support level to a downside. So what are we going to get? We are going to get what? A lower low. After lower low, you will see lower high, entry confirmation, and then we sell all the way to a downside. So immediately price complete the next push and the next exhaustion here. We look for candle confirmation over here to sell all the way down to the next one, monthly support level. So that is it also for what? USD Chef. Let's take it all the way to USD. We can't do USD Chef without USD. Let's talk about USD as well. Alright, so this is also USD, and then we are also expecting what? A buying opportunity over here as well. Let's dive into USD from the monthly time frame. So USD, how did we come about with the buy? Let's talk about it. So this is USD on the monthly time frame. You have the monthly upper, the mid-range, and then the lower zone. Price has been able to break above the monthly resistance level to the upside, giving us what? A strong push. So after a break above, where do we go? We go to the next monthly what? Resistance level. Alright, so now that we understand where price is going, let's take it again to the weekly time frame to add more meaning. This is also the weekly time frame of Euro USD. Now Euro USD on the weekly time frame, the same thing as we saw on the monthly, a break above the resistance level with a push going all the way to the next one resistance level. How do you pick buys all the way up? Let's take it again to daily time frame to add more meaning. Alright, so this is the daily time frame of Euro USD. Now Euro USD on the daily time frame, price was in an uptrend. It started from here. Okay, so we saw what a higher high, higher low, a higher high, higher low, a higher high again. But price failed to give us a new higher low before going up. Why? Why is it that price failed to give us another higher low before going all the way up? Because the buy pressure was very strong. Okay, sellers tried to give us a higher low, but buyers came in early and pushed the market all the way to the upside, indicating what? There's more buy pressure moving the market all the way to the upside. So since price has been able to break above this daily resistance level, then we can find entry above to go all the way to the next one, monthly resistance level. So Euro USD, let's take it to the 4-hour time frame and then complete the analysis. Alright, so this is Euro USD on the 4-hour time frame. Let's add meaning to it. So on the 4-hour time frame, this is what we are going to do before entry. Price is looking about the daily resistance level. Alright, this is a push. After a push, you expect to see retest as higher low before entry all the way to the upside. So Euro USD, this is what we're going to expect before entry. Okay, higher high, higher low, candle confirmation, and then we buy all the way to the next one, monthly resistance. So that's it also for Euro USD. Let's take it to the next pair. Okay, next pair is going to be gold. Let's take it all the way to gold. What is happening on gold? What is happening on gold? Let's talk about gold. Okay, so this is gold. Let's begin the analysis from the weekly time frame. Alright, so this is the weekly time frame on gold. And gold has been moving very, very strongly to the upside. Okay, let's explain. Let's explain the weekly. Alright, so this is the weekly time frame on gold. We have the weekly upper, the mid-range, and then the lower zone. Uptrend over here, higher high, higher low, higher high. We failed to see higher low. Why? Because buy pressure was very strong. Buyers just broke above after making contact with the resistance level. So this tells us that there's more buy pressure pushing the market all the way to the upside. So gold, we are only looking for buying opportunities. Buying opportunities. Let's take it all the way to the daily time frame to add more meaning. This is also the daily time frame on gold. What is happening on gold on the daily? We have the daily upper, the daily lower zone. We are also seeing an option over here. Higher high, higher low, higher high. Are we going to see higher low before price goes all the way up? Or will buyers be able to break above here and continue going all the way up? Two questions that requires an answer. Okay, so if we are going to pick our entry, it's going to be in two ways. That is, if price decides to come up for retest, we can find entry at the higher low here to go to the upside. If price does not come up for our daily retest and instead it continuously break above, we also look for a retest above and go all the way to the upside in that same manner. Alright, let's take it all the way to a 4-hour time frame and then prepare for both. This is what the 4-hour time frame of gold. Now gold on the 4-hour time frame, look how we have over here. On the 4-inch time frame, this is what and moves all the way to the upside as we saw on the day time frame. So I was saying that on the day time frame, if sellers see sell pressure here and bring the market all the way down, we can find entry here to go all the way to the upside. If sellers are unable to bring the market down for daily retest and instead continuously go all the way up, then we also find entry above in that same manner. Okay, so here you can see what we are in an uptrend. So if what price continues to break above, wait for retest. What do? We pick buys all the way to the upside in that manner. Okay, so entry in this form or entry also in this form. So if price comes here and is valid for a buy, if it breaks above over here and it's also what valid for a buy. So that's it also for what? For gold as well. So gold, we're also done with the technical analysis. Very simple, very simple. Let's go to the last pair. Last pair for the day. I'm tired. NZD-USD. NZD-USD. So NZD-USD, we're also looking for a buying opportunity. So NZD-USD, this is going to be a quick in, quick out, or a snack. Okay, I call it the FOREX quickie. Okay, it's not the original quickie that you know. You know we have original quickie, okay, and then the rest are fake. This one is fake quickie. Okay, so we are going to capitalize on NZD-USD. But NZD-USD, let's begin the analysis on the monthly time frame. Okay, so this is NZD-USD on the monthly time frame. Let's put meaning into it. Monthly upper, monthly mid-range, monthly lower zone. strong level of buy pressure from monthly support level, has been able to break about the monthly resistance level with a push all the way to the upside, giving us what, an uptrend. So we are now in an uptrend going all the way to the next one resistance level over here, because sellers fail to continue the downtrend over here. So if price going all the way up, what are we looking for? Buying opportunities. All right, let's take it all the way to weekly to add more meaning. Okay, so this is the weekly time frame of NZD/USD. Now NZD/USD on the weekly time, we have a weekly mid-range over here. What is happening on the weekly? On the weekly, price has been able to break about the weekly lower high here with a push all the way up. So we are going to see what weekly push high, weekly exhaustion probably before price goes all the way up, or we can also see what a strong move all the way to the upside. So price can easily get here, come back a little bit, and then push all the way up. But nonetheless, we are looking for an entry from here to reach the next resistance, which will be what? The weekly higher high, before you receiving weekly higher low, and then price goes all the way up again. So how do we pick the buy to the upside? Let's take it again to daily time frame where we can add more meaning. Okay, so this is the daily time frame of NZD/USD. Now NZD/USD on the daily time frame, let's put meaning into it as well. On the daily time frame, we also see what, an uptrend on the daily. Okay, price give us a lower low here. After lower high, it couldn't drop. It continued going all the way up. So we are also in an uptrend. So this is also what, a daily push. This is also a daily push on the what, the daily time frame, going all the way up to make contact with the monthly or the weekly resistance as the lower high. As the higher high over here. So we are going all the way up here. How do we pick the buy to this area? Let's take it again to the 4-hour time frame and then end it over here. So this is the 4-hour time frame of NZD/USD. So NZD/USD on the 4-hour time frame, we have our 4H upper and our 4H lower zone. Price and uptrend, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Price are looking above, so that's it. So there's no if. So this was what, a push upside, giving us what, a new higher high. We're expecting price to come down for higher low. Then entry comes in all the way to the upside in that manner. So NZD/USD, this is also our full and complete technical. So this brings us to the end of our market analysis for the week. If you love what I'm doing over here, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment below to help the channel out, and then don't forget to share to your friends as well. And then join my free signals group. The link is in the bio, or the link is also in the description as well. Thank you for joining in. Remember to stay classy and trade classy. But if you're looking for the best course and mentorship, hit me up. I'll take you through and then mentor you so that you can also do exactly what I'm doing over here. Thank you all. Stay blessed. Enjoy your Easter holidays. Peace. I'm out.